When I was a kid, I had a thought. What does it mean to be a hero? Now, I know this might sound like a weird question, but bear with me for a second. Because we see so many examples of heroes in our daily lives. From the everyday heroes who save us from cats and trees, to fires, to natural disasters, to the enigmatic superheroes we see in popular culture. Now, what makes them heroes? Is it the suits? Is it the symbols that they wear on their chests? Or could it be something more? Could it be something we just haven't thought about? And if they can be heroes, then why can't we all be heroes? And if we are, what are we the heroes of? Well, today we're going to find that out. When I was 8 years old, I was diagnosed with high functioning autism, or Asperger's syndrome, as it's now called. Now, I know this is a heated issue, especially today, but it's not my job to try and lecture you on the issue of autism. My job is to provide you with hope in spite of fear. Because with my diagnosis came three challenges. The first was the inability to learn. The second was the inability to socialize. And the third, and you're going to find this perhaps the most ironic, the inability to communicate. Now, I want you to think about that for a second. Because what am I doing right now? I'm communicating, right? So, how did I get from there to here? Well, I'll tell you. See, when I was diagnosed, my doctors, specialists, therapists, even my special education teachers, that's right, even the people responsible for my well being, they all told me and my family that I would never be able to graduate high school, that I would have to live potentially for the rest of my life with my family. Now, take that in for a second. An 8-year-old boy is told he's never going to graduate high school? His destiny already determined? Well, if this was your child, how would you react? And just think about that for a second. Because when I was diagnosed, my family, my parents, did everything in their power to make sure that I was cared for, that I was loved. They got me into some of the best special education programs in the country. And what did I do? I sat down in front of a TV screen and I retreated. And that's where I was for the next 4 years. In my mind, I was curled into a fetal position and I cried. I thought no one could get me out. Until one day, I heard a voice and I felt a hand pull me out of that darkness. See, when I sat down in front of that TV screen, I wasn't just retreating. I was consuming. I was learning. The characters in those TV shows, they became my teachers, my mentors, my friends. I would take words, phrases, complete sentences, complete ideas, and I would rephrase them or repeat them in the real world. To anybody else, these would seem like random blurts, total nonsense. But to me, I was talking. Not very well, but it was a start. Now, I would not have been able to get out of my mind or be able to start talking if it hadn't been for the one person who was willing to go through that experience with me, my father. See, while everyone else was trying so hard to bang at the door, trying to get me to start talking, trying to get me to be there, present, my dad did something different. He did what was known as slipstreaming. Instead of trying to bang at the door, he sat down next to me and he would watch TV with me. He spent years sitting down in front of that TV with me, just watching me, noticing how I was engaged with the characters, with the storytelling, with the just everything about it. And then he started to ask me questions. He started to ask me, who is that? Or what's going on here? Or could you tell me what's going on there? And instead of being a blank nothingness, I actually responded coherently, succinctly. I told him, that's him. That's that person. That's what's going on here. He broke through the shield of my mind. He got me out of that darkness. He was the voice that pulled me out of that darkness. Jump 2 years later, I got into high school. I did it. I beat the odds, but I wasn't done. I wanted to make the most out of my high school experience. So I joined a team. Now, I could have chosen anything. I could have chosen the chess club. I could have chosen the glee club. I could have chosen the acting club. I could have chosen any club imaginable. But instead, I chose wrestling. I chose perhaps the hardest sport imaginable. And it ended up being the best thing I could have ever done. I don't know what pulled me towards it, what kind of feeling I had towards it, but I just felt like I needed to do it. I just felt like I needed to go in that direction. And I'm so happy I did because I went from 235 pounds to 185 pounds in just a year. I became lean. I became strong. I made friends. And I finally went from being unable to be touched, which was kind of a thing about wrestling. You had to be touched, to somebody who could be touched. Sadly, unfortunately, didn't last that long. I had an accident, had to get surgery, had to quit, say la vie. But that didn't stop me. I kept going. I took the lessons of wrestling and I brought it to the rest of my life. I focused on my education, got a 4.0 average, and 2 years later, I graduated high school. It was the proudest moment of my life. But I wasn't done. I kept going. I got my associate's degree. I got my bachelor's degree. I got my master's degree. And now I'm teaching public speaking at San Diego State University. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? I certainly didn't. But I'm not done. I'm still going. I'm still trying to become better. And that's the point. That is what it means to be a hero. A hero is someone who keeps moving forward in the face of adversity. And what makes a hero is that part of yourself that wants to keep going. That little voice inside of your head that is pushing you towards something, that is pulling you towards something. So, friends, listen to that voice. Listen to whatever is driving you. Keep moving forward. And ask yourself this question: how are you the heroes of your own story? Thank you.